In this video, we will texture the character. So after you finish the UVs, you will start texturing. Select the object, go to shading. Now you'll see the workspace arranged like this. There won't be any material here too. Here it says slot for the materials. I have one slot, which means I can add one material to this object. If I want to add more, I gotta add more material slots, like this. To delete slots, press on the minus. Select the first material slot and we will create a material. Here, instead of making materials, you can use existing materials. So click on it and you'll see some materials I made in this project. Click New to create a material. Once it's made, you'll see this. Turn on the shield to make sure the material is saved and not deleted. You can add nodes from the top left, and nodes are these things here. So go to Add, search Image Texture. This is what we will paint on. As you might have guessed, you can also add using Shift-A to bring the Add menu. To show the texture on the model, connect the color to the base color. We will connect the color of the texture to the base color on the principled BSDF, which handles the physical properties of objects. So connect it, and now anything I paint on the texture will show. But since the texture is empty, it's showing as black. Now press on New to create the image texture itself. Name it anything, and here you can adjust the resolution. Try to use numbers like this: 512, 1024, 2048, 4096. For me, I'll use 2K. Multiply it by 2, 2048. Make sure the alpha is tick 2. And now press OK. The texture is created. It's black because we didn't paint yet, so in order to show this texture, enable it from the left. It's completely black. In Texture Paint, you can start painting with the Draw tool, which allows you to paint. So I'll pick a color and paint. Here is the first color and the second color. Press X to toggle between them. So I'll start drawing for real now. To change the way the brush behaves, you can press E. Here you'll see some stroke methods. So you have line, dotted, space, curve, etc. This one is line. Space is like Photoshop, where it creates the same pattern and leaves space between each copy. I can add a texture to the brush here. Or texture mask. This basically changes the shape of the brush. In stroke, you can see we're using space and I can change it. This is the same as the E shortcut. The spacing is for space between each brush stroke, as I just told you. Here we have stabilized stroke, basically lazy mouse or smoothness in Photoshop. To adjust the brush size, press F like sculpting. Stabilized stroke will delay the brush stroke, and this makes your stroke smoother. Here is the fall off. Currently the brush's edges are smooth, but if I change the fall off to constant, it'll become hard. So now it's sharp, which we could make use of. You can test different templates or create custom ones. Symmetry options here basically mirrors the right and left sides. With X mirror, it'll allow you to mirror the left and right sides. Notice that these options at the right are at the top too. When texturing, I don't use these from the active tool and workspace settings, only from the top row. If you middle mouse the row, you'll be able to scroll through the settings. We have the same exact settings here as we did before. And that's it for the introduction to texturing and materials. You learned about creating textures and using the brush tool. Now, how would you add multiple materials to an object? Say I want this face to be red. So create a material slot which will hold the material. Now I'll add a material inside slot 2. And here you can use an existing material or make a new one. I'll use the red one. Nothing changed yet because slot 2 isn't assigned to any face yet on the model. The material is there, but I need to tell Blender to show it on a face. In edit mode, select this face. The slot menu is showing slot 1, which means this face uses slot 1. So I'll make it use the second slot, which uses the red material. Now hit assign. So this face now is using the material in slot 2, and this one uses the material in slot 1. Now we'll start with the textures. Go to shading workspace. Remove this material. Click on new to create a new material. Name it body. Enable fake user. Shift A and add an image texture. Click on new and multiply the resolution by 2. Name the texture Cloudy color, for example. Drag a line from the color and connect it to the base color. The texture is ready. Go to texture paint workspace. Now just copy the colors from the image. I'll start with the color of the skin since it's the primary color. Disable anti-aliasing if it was laggy. Don't forget to save the project with Ctrl S and also save the texture on your PC with Alt S. This window will open up. Set the location and name, then save image. So if you want to save the texture, hover over it and Alt S. Don't forget that. Moving on to the hair, I'll sample the color. We'll encounter some issues when using the brush tool here, as you can see. So instead, separate the hair and use the bucket tool on it. Go to edit mode and select the hair with L. Press L, P, then selection. Now as you can see, it's a separate object and it won't affect the head. We can easily color the hair with the bucket tool now. Here I'll fix this area manually. And don't forget to keep saving the texture with Alt S. Now join the hair back with the body. I'll paint on the hair's UVs just to make sure. I'll start painting the shoe here. I started painting the shoe but realized I have mirror turned off, so I'll Ctrl Z and go back. Do not forget to save the texture.